Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to my unsolicited opinion. My name is Diamond, and today we are going to be discussing a movie called Time Cut that just came out on Netflix. I'm not sure when it came out, but I'm like an avid, like if I go on Netflix, it looks interesting, I'm going to click on it. And I need someone to talk about it with because I don't know. I need someone else to talk to it about. Like, I like to hear what other people's thoughts and opinions was on this. So let's dive right on into it. This will have spoiler things. Definitely, the more we get into the video, the more I will be talking. And I'm just here to give my unsolicited opinion about Time Cut. So let's get right into it. So Time Cut, I seen it on Netflix, and this is what it's about. The movie is about this girl whose sister was murdered back in 2003, and she's in 2024. So she stumbles across this time machine, and she goes back 3 days before her sister is finna die in 2003. That's the whole premise of the movie. That's like the spoiler-free point of the movie. Overall, I will give the movie, let's see, like out of 5, I would give it a 3. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. Like, it was a good movie. It was also good seeing Madison, what's her name? Madison Bailey? Yeah. It was good seeing Madison Bailey like play in something else. I forget the let's see, what has she played in? Yeah, she played in Outer Banks. Okay, so her most recent role is playing, her most recent role that I've seen her in was in Outer Banks. I like seeing actors and actresses from like movies and TV shows be like the main character. Like, it's really nice to see them in other stuff other than what they're kind of mainly known for. So like for her, it's Outer Banks. So it's nice seeing her. But, and she acted very well. So I would say, yeah, the movie was good. Like, it overall was a good movie. And what sparked my interest to click on it in the first place was because I watched Cattle Lake. And if you have not seen Cattle Lake, that was a good movie. I hate that I don't have HBO Max because I would probably watch it again. But I watched Cattle Lake, and that was based off of time traveling as well. So seeing this movie go off about time traveling, it kind of piqued my interest because it did such a good job in Cattle Lake. So you're following the sister. Her name is Lucy. She's the one that's in 2024, and she time travels back to 2003, where she runs to her sister. The sister that was killed, her name was Summer. Her actual name was Summer Lucy, I believe. I thought the movie was interesting in the whole point of you're following the main character, and her family is still grieving the death of her sister that she never met because they're decades apart. Like, she wasn't even born when her sister was born. Like, well, wait, hold on. Hold on. I don't know why I'm getting so tongue twisted with my words. I would say, obviously, when the sister from 2024, when Lucy traveled back in time to 2003, I want to ask all, like, the people who know about the 2000s era, like, was that like an accurate representation of what it was like to be born and go to high school in 2000s? Because in 2003, I was 3 years old. But, like, to look back and, like, hear the soundtrack and everything, and just the outfits they had on, like, was that pretty accurate to how it was to be in high school in 2003? So yeah, Summer, she goes back in time for some reason. I feel like the pace of the movie was fast because it's an introductory. You're kind of sensing the fact that Lucy she's having a hard time. She gets accepted into this NASA program. She doesn't tell her parents, but she tells her teacher, and their teacher's like, you know, I had your sister in my class. She was a very nice young lady, but, you know, don't let her death, like, hold you back or be affected or all those things. And she talks a little bit about her parents and how they are. So you kind of got a sense that her parents aren't the same because of her sister's death and all those things. So on the day of her death anniversary, they go to the cemetery, and her mom and her dad have things that they are attributing to her memorial site. So they put things down, and then they're like, hey, do you have anything to put down? And I think it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's odd to almost not force your kid to be a part of this, but I can assume how it can be hard to be like a sister. I can see how it can be hard to grieve a sister that you never met. So I can see how she doesn't really have a connection with this girl. Like, she just knows, like, okay, this was my sister. who was killed. I never met her. I was born like hell is down the line. So I was just like, okay, but the movie just like was moving so fast. And I had to watch the movie twice so I can like kind of, I watched it first, you know, and I watched it again so I could take all my notes. And even when I watched it again, I was like, dang, like timing of this is really fast. But I guess the whole point is that she time traveled back. But I wish we would have got like a better understanding of her relationship with her parents, so we could really, because as the movie kept playing, it did start to describe details and how, you know, when she traveled back in time and she went back to her parents' house, she seen how lovable her parents were. She seen like how they would cook dinner and how her mom said that her and Summer would cook dinner all the time. And then she thinks about like, damn, you know, in my timeline, my family, my parents, we don't have family dinners. Like my mom hardly cooks, and she probably doesn't want to cook anymore because that's the thing she did with her daughter. And when she asked her parents, like, would y'all have had another kid? They were like, no. Clearly didn't know who she was, obviously. But when they were like, no, Summer is just perfect, like she's the only kid we need, I know that hurt. Like that had to have been heartbroken to know that you weren't even thought of. Your parents didn't even think to have you, but they had you. They had you to have another girl, and they also named you the middle name of the daughter that was like killed. So it was almost like, damn, like it's just not the same parents, and you honestly probably would have never even been born if you probably would have never even been born if that didn't happen, right? So that was kind of sad. Like I was almost like I felt so much sympathy for Lucy because I'm like, damn, like not only are you having to grieve a sister you never met, your parents are different, they're so sad, they're still heartbroken, everything. Then you find out that they didn't even want another kid. I sympathize so much with Lucy. So the interesting thing about a time travel movie is, you know what they say, that if you travel back in the past, you can't do or disrupt anything from the past because you're going to disrupt the future. Like I said, I was going off the movie Caddo Lake and everything that happened in Caddo Lake, that I just was like, I'm so amped for this movie because I'm like, how are they going to play this off? Like, how is she going to initially, like my first prediction when I first watched the movie, I thought, okay, she's gonna travel back in time and she's gonna find out who killed her sister, and then they're gonna be able to solve the murder case. That's what I thought was gonna happen initially, because I'm like, they can't change anything from the past to disrupt the future. So if she saves her sister, then how is that going to play out in the future, especially if her parents never even planned to have her? So they had that, oh my goodness, my nose it. So they had that whole thing where she said, well, damn, if I save you now, I'm probably not going to be born. And if you die now, then I'm going to be born. But, you know, like it was a toss up of the coin. Also, I guess I had missed it the first time I watched it. I was like, she just stumbled across this time machine. And she did stumble across this time machine because the whole point is that Quinn from the future, it actually was pretty smart, because Quinn from the future traveled back in the past, did all that slashing and stuff and got rid of everybody, and then he jumped back in the future, and that's why they was never ever able to find out who killed everybody, because he time traveled in the past. But if you think about it, when Lucy time traveled in the past and she was at the school and she saved Quinn from being pushed into the water, that kind of disrupted the timeline in a way already, because the only reason that Quinn from the future had traveled back in the past was because of the scene that happened at the lake when they pushed him in, and how Summer was laughing, everybody was laughing, and then it just kind of kept rippling after that. And so he had all this built up anger of like, I was in love with Summer, she didn't want me, which she never was going to want you because she liked girls, but that's beside the point. So it was like, it was never going to work out. So he had all this anger built up, and that's caused him to want to come back from the future and be like, I'm just going to kill everybody. And then guess what? Solved. So it kind of already disrupted, because the Quinn, once Lucy had saved Quinn, he was like, oh, I would never do something like that. Like, why would I do that? What are you talking about? So she had already started to disrupt the future, if you think about it. She kind of already was fucking it up. So like, okay, the movie pans out. They don't even save the teenagers, but they end up saving Summer. They didn't save the other teenagers, though. It was too late. Or she attempted, but it still happened. And also someone else died too, the security guard, because she interfered. Lucy interfered. But what confused me is that then, okay, so now they're fighting with future Quinn, but Quinn from the future and Quinn from the past have seen each other. And then they started talking about like, oh, I think because Quinn has, I'm trying to remember the movie. When Quinn had threatened to, like, he had put the, whatever he had put up to his neck and threatened to end himself. He was like, if I die, then don't you die. And then Quinn said, oh, little do you know about the future, or something like that, he said. Time traveling can get confusing, right? And I feel like this movie kind of tested it a little bit, because what we've always known is changing from the past is going to reflect in the future. Lucy went back in time. She said nothing changed. So she came back to 2003, and then she stayed in 2003, and she just lived in 2003. That was it in the movie. And I thought, like, okay, I guess. I don't know, like, I guess, because it's okay. You did save your sister. You realized that you didn't really have a life in your timeline, because you didn't really like it because your parents were sad and they didn't have family dinners and all that stuff. But you end up staying in the past with your parents who were happy with their kid, and then the movie just ended. It was like, all right, happy ending, solved. So it's like, okay. Yeah, I literally said the sister stayed behind. That was confusing. Let's see what other people thought about the book. I keep saying book because I just got done talking about The Housemaid. Let's see what other people thought about the movie. A 5 out of 10 on IMDb and 37% on Metacritic. It said generally unfavorable. There's a mix, and then some people didn't like it. Let's read the reviews of other people. Destined to be forgotten the minute it's finished. Time Cut is a passable addition to the slash-up genre, acceptable Halloween fare for the frightened challenge or anyone with a soft spot for the music of Hilary Duff. If you are hoping to double down on the gore this Halloween season, this delightful yet cheesy title will fit the bill. This says Time Cut consists of piles of period-specific references, sans humor, heavy drama without depth, and characters without much going on in their interior lives. There's far too much focus on the particulars of time travel, as if we expect or want a film like this to be rooted in any actual science, and there's a laziness to how it handles the simple slasher beats. I definitely wouldn't say it's like a horror film. It was nothing particularly scary about it. The scenes weren't even that crazy gore or like that scary. He just was offing everybody, and then that was it. Someone said, honestly, it got poor ratings, but as a 27-year-old, I enjoyed it. I love the plot, and I like that it actually had a happy ending, which was something different for a child. And unlike every single other slasher movie that always ends the same. I also love the music. All of my childhood favorites made it so much more enjoyable too. This movie, I did like that. Like the nostalgia and like the music and the party and all that. I did say that was a nice touch to the movie. This movie is like the other movie released last year with Olivia and Charlie Gillespie, where Olivia's character is the mom and the daughter has to save her from being murdered. But this one was just as good as that, in my opinion. This movie is more fun, like a haunted house, not to be terrified like you would after watching Nightmare on Elm Street or The Conjuring. It's clearly made for teens, but since it did have all the throwbacks to my childhood, the fashion accessories, other early 2000s vibes, the music at the mall being the hangout spot is what made the movie for my age group as well. Great casting in my opinion as well. I agree, it was a good cast. They casted them like as sisters very, very well. So, like, I'm getting a lot of mixed reviews. Like, I'm not saying it was a terrible movie, but I feel like I wish they would have shown more character development. I wish we would have got, like, an even better understanding, especially when because she just mentioned, like, oh, yeah, I went back to my timeline, but nothing really happened, so I just came back. Like, I wish we could have seen that. I wish we could have seen her decision of being like, well, I could just go back and be with my sister. You know, so I just wish there was a little bit more development of the storyline, because we got the sense it cut right to the chase. Like, it said that she traveled back in time to the day, like 3 days before her sister died, and exactly what happened. And then she ended up saving her sister and living with her in that timeline. Like, see how confusing that sounds? But overall, like, it was a good movie. If you have watched it, let me know what you feel down below. Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? And let's talk about it. So thank you so much for watching this video. I will see y'all in my next video with my next movie or book review. Little a little shameless self promo. I do vlog also, and I have a vlog channel. I also have a clothing brand called Selected Threads, where we'll be making feminine streetwear fashion, and we do have a collection, or not a collection. We do have a spring drop coming next year, so I'm super excited about that. Everything will be linked down in the description box below. As always, you can find all my links down there, especially my social media links. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.